halfway gone, and that means one thing. Integral stock is priced to move, starting as low as $4. The event is on. FBA payments, low interest rate. Purchase one at this price. 2014 Chevy Sonic, stock number E41625.
So today's topic is going to be not so much about parenting. It's going to be about how you deal with the arguments that you have with your spouse, if you have them, obviously. It's going to be about how specifically to deal with someone who has narcissism. You guys don't know what narcissism is? Basically, it is very hard to deal with. It is a person that is pretty much only cares about themselves. They'll pretend to care about other people. They're very fake. You never really know what their motives are. And the sad thing is if you knew they were a narcissist when you first got together, you probably wouldn't be with them, because you're in for a long, long journey being with a narcissist. One thing I will tell you, hopefully it makes you feel a little bit better, is everyone online says that being with a narcissist is impossible and that you should leave immediately because they cannot be cured. I am here to tell you that that is wrong. And I'm going to explain to you how. Not guaranteeing anything, but I'm going to tell you how I did it and how it still works. It does require quite a bit of effort. But if you have children with this person, you should try and be with them as long as you possibly can. So I'm going to get into what I did, what our situation was, what we went through, and then how I finally figured out what it was required to help her. Good day, YouTube. How are you guys doing? It's me again, Trailer Park Philosopher. In case you guys were wondering, I'll put it up there. I really do live in a trailer park. It's not really the ghetto or anything. It's kind of nice, but I do live in a trailer park. Anyways, so today we're doing a super, super tough issue. This is something that I have dealt with personally, and it's even been more difficult to deal with than any of the parenting stuff that I've done. Okay, this is about how to deal with a spouse that is a narcissist. Okay, if you guys aren't familiar with narcissists, basically they believe that the entire world revolves around them. Any kind of situation they get into, they're always looking out for themselves, even if it's their fault. They were always looking out for themselves. It is incredibly frustrating to deal with. If you go on YouTube and you search narcissistic partner or something, you'll see videos everywhere. People just saying, give up, you'll never figure it out. But they are totally wrong. And I can't say, for anyone else, but I know that I pretty much have dealt with probably the worst case of narcissism ever for 8 years. And it took 7 years to figure out what I had to do and what, what I had to not do to, get her to be able to get past it, not only for herself, but for me and for the kids, because it's very difficult to deal with. So I'm going to go over what it was like, what we went through, some of the crazy situations we got into because of it, and then how eventually I figured out how to fix it for her. Well, not fix it for her, but to direct her on what she needed to do for herself. Okay? So give me one moment. I'll be right back, and we will go into the first part of the story, which is when we first met. Thank you very much. Be right back. Okay. So the thing you want to realize is being with a narcissist, it's a stigma, just like anything else, okay? Not every single person who smokes weed is a pothead. Not every single person who drinks is an alcoholic. Not every single narcissist is a narcissist all the time. And you can't group people together like that. Because if you group everyone together and don't see any of them as an individual, then you're never going to get past your previous experiences with people that are similar. So you don't look at the individuality of that person. You're looking at their faults only, and not the fact that they are an individual and maybe they just need something that they haven't figured out how to get yet. Maybe that's the way it is with everyone. So what I'm going to tell you is about me and my wife, and how it happened, what it was like at the beginning, and then middle and end. I'm going to do it in 3 parts. So we met, funny enough, online, on the worst site in the world, Plenty of Fish. And I'm sure that amuses all of you. It still amuses me, to be honest. I was single. I did not want children at all. No way. I did not want them. She had 2. I met her. And we hung out. And then I remember the whole night, there was something going on with her. I don't know what it was. Something was going on with her. She just wasn't there. She was worried about something. So I finally just asked her what was going on. She had nobody to watch her kids the next day. And she had to go to work. So me not knowing them, I'm an idiot. I volunteered. I watched the kids. Anyways. So this whole time, she was perfect. She did not get angry. She didn't yell at her kids. She was very nice. She did things for me. Very, very nice. And it wasn't like there was a crazy attraction or anything. It was just she was very, very nice to be around. I enjoyed being around her. And I kind of felt sorry for her in a little bit of a way, but it's not like she was asking for sympathy. She was very strong. But for the first 6 months, right before we moved in together, I never saw anything. I never saw her get a little bit mad even. Not even a little bit mad. Not even a little bit selfish. Everything was about me. Everything was about me. And I was like, everything was about her. And then we moved in together. And as soon as that happened, about a week after, she got drunk and was like running around the house with this. She was trying to make like these biscuits with like powder. She's running around the house just throwing it everywhere. And I believe I don't know how drunk she was, but it seems she must have been pretty drunk. So, that happened, and she was screaming at me over nothing, and I'm just like, what is going on? Why is she yelling at me? Why is she yelling at me? What the hell did I do? The kids were right there when this was all going on. It didn't really seem to faze them. They were pretty little, so it didn't really seem to faze them. So then after that, the next day she apologized, and I didn't hear anything about it for another month. Then all of a sudden, after that month, she did it again, not drunk, sober, every day. Would just get mad about random things, the dumbest thing you could imagine. Like if I would leave, like a piece of paper on the floor or something. If she was in one of those moods of narcissism where she wanted attention, that's what they want, is they want attention. They want the world to focus on them. So if she was in one of those moods where she wanted attention, she will yell at me about that and complain or accuse you of stuff. They'll accuse you of things that they have no real reason to think you did. Accuse you of cheating, accuse you of doing all kinds of stuff. And you can't trust them because normally they're reasonably smart, but they're also very good at hiding stuff. And because they're good at hiding stuff, they basically are able to find things that you do that they could say are symptoms of hiding something. So if they know that this is how they would do it, they'll find a way. Even if there's nothing there, they'll find something to blame you. And you can say anything. You can make the most rational argument possible, and they will look at you like you're crazy. You will say, look at this. I'm showing this to you right now. This is a picture of me with a newspaper, with today's date here, and all this. And then there's 5 witnesses. It doesn't matter to them. They'll say, well, you know how to manipulate that stuff. They'll come up with something crazy like that. And so there's nothing you can really do. You pretty much just have to take it. And it doesn't stop. When they have an episode like that, it will go on for a week or so. You have 2 choices. One, you can get mad at them and push them to the limit where it almost gets physical. It almost always will get physical. I mean, I never touched her, but she beat the crap out of me. And I am 6'4". I'm a big guy. She beat the crap out of me. I got a scar right here. And I know this doesn't necessarily sound like narcissism, but it is. This is a reaction to the narcissism, because if she's not getting that attention that she's wanting, then she manifests that energy that she needs from the attention into anger. That's just her way of processing it. And she took it out on me. So that is the way a narcissist's mind works. Okay? They latch on to somebody, and that somebody becomes their release for all of their anger that they have at the rest of the world. And you will see with them, they will be perfect. That was weird. Neighbors. You will see, they will be perfectly normal and the sweetest people and the most awesome people around everyone outside, but they will never hang out with those people. They will only see those people when they go to work or when they're outside randomly. But they will never purposely spend time with them. So they will basically convince these people. They will convince these people that they're around all the time that they are the most innocent people in the world. That she is the most innocent, or he is the most innocent, and she's a single mother. She's taking care of her kids. She works hard. She works all day, and you're just a guy you're just a stepdad. You're just some guy who's there, and you don't do anything. You lay around the house. You don't do any of that, and basically they play the victim. So if something happens, they always have that because they don't care about you at that time. All they care about is so basically, they're always going to be thinking about ways to have other people think that they're innocent and that you're the bad one. Okay? Because inside of their head, they don't believe that you're ever going to actually stay. They think you're going to leave, just like most likely like their father did and their ex-husband or ex-boyfriend or brother, or all the men in their life most likely have left if they're a narcissist. They may have one that they're attached to, like a brother or a father or an ex that they are obsessed with that they can't get over. And that, as I'm going to tell you now, and this includes men, I'm assuming, is that they have an attachment to a certain people, could be their family or someone, who don't even know her anymore because she is not the same person that they knew, that they see once a year at Thanksgiving or something, or they talk to when they're sad, or that's not even around, but they just tell you how much you should be like them, or you wish, or they love them. They always make you feel less. And the reason for that is that way they can maintain control. They don't want you to think that you have control. They want you to think that they are in control. So you have to really, at first you won't realize what's going on. You'll just be like, okay, what did I do? And you'll get sad and all this stuff. You will start to see it when you start to sleep in the same bed with them, if you do. Or if you're not even in the same bed, but if you see them in the morning, when they wake up in the morning, you can tell immediately how their day is going to go and how they are feeling. They are not morning people, I promise you, because they haven't really been able to gather their thoughts together, and they may have told some lies or something that they have to cover or something like that. So look at the person, if you're trying to figure out if they have this, look at the person in the morning and see if they smile or not. If you're even a little bit sure that this person may be a narcissist, look and see if they smile. And if they have kids, watch them with their kids. Okay? They will talk to them, and they'll be around them, they'll be nice and all that. But they won't pay attention to what the kid is saying. They won't even look at them. They'll always be doing something. A lot of narcissists, you'll see them on their phones constantly too. Because they don't care what you have to say. If you try and teach them something, or you want to show them something that you're doing, they'll never want to. They'll pretend to, but they'll never actually get involved. So these are the things you need to look for. Okay? Those kind of things. Also, outbursts out of nowhere. Very sensitive to certain stimuli. Certain things will set them off. Certain movies, certain people, certain voices, certain phrases you say. It's almost like a little bit of PTSD that goes along with it. So all of those things are things that you will see with them. So pay attention, because unless you need to, you really don't want to get involved with a narcissist. But if you do, and you love the person, and you want to stay with them, it is going to be a lot of work, I promise you that. But I will tell you, for me, it was definitely worth it. I would not trade anything in the world for that. What I went through, because not only did it make her better, it made me way better. Because it was the hardest struggle I've ever had to go through by far. But I want to warn you that if you want to do it, it will seem impossible for years and years and years. It will seem like nothing will ever change, and things will change for a little bit, and then something will bring it back. Change for a little bit, bring it back. So on and so on and so on. Guarantee you, you'll break up. We did twice. And when you do break up, they will be extremely, extremely harsh to you. Extremely harsh. So expect that. And if you have kids, do whatever you can to prevent a breakup, because it will not be good for them with a narcissist. Because they don't care about the kids really either. They care about what people see them do with the kids. So they care about other people's perception of how they are with the kids. They don't actually care about the kids. I mean, they do, but not like you would think they would. So you will see that they will always act a certain way in front of other people than they will when it's just you and them. And it is fake as fuck. Even people they don't like, they will just be fake to their face. And the reason for that is because they want all of those people on their side against you, because you are their enemy in a way. It's hard to explain. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go into some things to stay away from, some big events that happened, and how I dealt with it. And then lastly, we will go through how I solved it eventually. Okay? Okay. So, going in the middle, basically we were together for 2 years. Very rough, very rough. We were very poor. I was in charge of the kids. And obviously they were one of the main things we argued over, because a narcissist does not care about necessarily the kids themselves, but if you are being strict with the kid, what the narcissist is going to care about is, the narcissist is going to care about how people perceive that interaction between you and the kids. So if all of a sudden I come around and kids start behaving, the narcissist is going to look at that as a bad thing, because they're going to know that the reason for the good behavior is my influence on the kids, not hers. They honestly will go that deep into things. They are very good planners and very intelligent in their own way, but they lack rationality and they lack empathy completely. Okay, so one of the things you also need to look for, well, let's kind of go past that. Basically, now we had been together for that amount of time. Now, it had been 2 years. We were living together. She would go to work every day, and I worked from home. I would take care of the kids completely. After a while, I got sick of them just doing whatever they wanted to. And their father was not around, so I was in that role. And I decided that I did not want them to be raised like I was, which was basically passive parenting, or, kind of just uninvolved, or, those two. I did not like that, and it did not turn out well for me. My life was much harder because of that. So I decided I was going to be authoritarian and authoritative, which I was. She did not like it because she did not want her family or whomever to realize that she was not a good mother before, because all of a sudden I come around and her kids start behaving well. And then they blame themselves too. They're like, why haven't I done this already? They start blaming themselves. And when they blame themselves, they almost guilt themselves into it. And even though you're the one doing the right thing and they're the one doing the wrong thing, and you're not starting any problems or anything, they take the fact that they're pissed off at themselves out on you. So you are the target. And so in the beginning, how you handle this is extremely important. If you allow them to walk all over you, then you're fucked for a while. Because they're now going to realize that they can get that satisfaction they need. They can get that release of all of this pent-up energy they have by taking it out on your ass. So you are now enemy number one. And you leave, they'll say, I'm sorry, they'll apologize, they'll do everything to get you to come back, all those things. Anytime you just, all right, I'm done. They will, let that happen. And then they'll do things like fake a pregnancy. They'll do something drastic to get you to come back. And then as soon as you come back, it's right back into it. Right back. Maybe a week after. So if you don't have kids and you don't want to get sucked into this, and you can, don't do it. Get out of there. Because it is not necessarily worth it if you don't have kids or you're not really in love. Okay? So expect to get yelled at over things that are not your fault, and don't expect for the beginning to be able to rationally explain something and get a rational response. It doesn't matter how well you explain your point of view. They don't care. What they want is your attention. And it doesn't matter if you give them your attention all the time or not. They want to fight. That's what it is. They like fighting. They like making you feel bad because it makes them feel bigger and more important. When a narcissist is having issues, it's because they are feeling a lack of being important. They don't feel important. So when you are parenting the kids and you are doing all of the right things, you are setting rules, you're making sure they follow the rules, and then the narcissist will purposefully not follow those rules. And they will do it in front of you to cause an argument. If you try and avoid an argument, they will come out of the room if you're in the living room and come and start a fight with you in front of the kids, because they know then you will go in the room and talk to them. So how do you deal with that? You don't want your kids to see you fight. But you also don't want to just sit there and, you don't want to just go along with it. So how do you deal with that? The way you deal with it is be as tough as possible and expect for the first period of time to get the cops called on you because she's beating you up or he's beating you up or whatever. So you need to be very sure that this is what you want because you're going to be going through a lot of trouble. And know that your kids are probably going to be through this. I hope not, but I just am hoping that you will be prepared for that fact. And one thing I would suggest when it comes to the kids, and tell her that you're doing this, or him, tell her that you are explaining to the kids why she's doing what she's doing. And it's very important you do that because you don't want the kids to think it's their fault. And you also want them to understand what is going on in her brain. That way, if they start to feel a certain way as they get older, they can recognize that that's coming because they have the same genetics. So it's very possible that they are going to have to face those same kind of things. I feel bad for people with it. It has got to be horrible. They're never satisfied, they're always struggling just to feel happy. It's horrible. And so you shouldn't get angry with them. You should realize that it's a mental disorder that they cannot help. You need to train them. Okay, now we're going to get into the last part. You have got to train them to no longer go to that place of anger when they get bored or they feel they need attention. And what you will also notice about narcissistic people, and this is not really the outgoing narcissistic people as much, this is more of what's called a covert narcissist. So the covert narcissist is someone who is very introverted, but still very agreeable and still very nice personality. Most people would think a narcissist is someone who's very outgoing and very self-centered. I wish that's way better than a covert narcissist because you're the only one who knows that that person is a narcissist. No one else knows. You'll tell someone and they won't fucking believe you. They could even witness it one time and still not believe it. They'll just think that they're throwing a temper tantrum. And because of all the things that she's already told them about you, which are most likely not true, they already have an opinion on you because of what they've told them. Right? And because in my situation, she's a woman, people always believe women over men. I don't know why, but that is what it is. So, when it came to the parenting, I would do everything right, and then she would ruin all the work I did. But I knew that that was what my kids needed. So I took the beatings, as far as I'm talking about verbal beatings, the arguments. I took all of that. I took getting yelled at. I took everything. The one thing that I would start fights about is when she didn't follow the rules that we both agreed upon. She would not follow them. And if one of the kids broke them, she wouldn't punish them. So now the kids are thinking anytime that they're around her, they don't have to follow the same rules, which is terrible. Right? So make sure that they do not get away with that. You need to pay attention when they're around them, alone, without you, if you're in the other room or something. Pay attention and don't let them get away with it. Because it's not necessarily about them as much as it is about the kids. Kids cannot see you, as a weak. Okay? So, it's going to be difficult. You're going to argue a lot. And what you have to do is just always be right. Always be the better one. Don't be the one who gets out of control. Always be the calm one. Unless it is one of those times where your kids are somewhere else and you are on purpose taking them over the edge so they can have a month of being calm, because that's the way it works. It's like a up and down and up and down, and they reach the peak and they're not going to get past that peak until you push them over, and then they're back to kind of calm for a while. So get the kids out of the house and push them over the fucking edge and let them go crazy. Let them cry their fucking eyes out and yell and blame their parents and say how terrible their lives were, and then they'll be good for a little while until it comes up again. And they'll apologize to you. But you always need to be right, because if you're wrong about something, they will throw it in your face over and over and over and over and over and over and over. They will never get over something. But if you bring up something from their, what they did to you, it's all my fault. It's always they do this thing wherever they come to a point in an argument where they can no longer really have a point of view that they can express, they'll just say, yeah, it's all my fault. I'm the worst person in the world. I don't know why I'm alive. They always do that because what are you going to say to that? It's a straw man. You're not going to argue with that. And so then you might just get up and leave. But if you get up and leave, then they're going to be like, how come you get to walk out and when I walk out, you say don't leave? Because they leave whenever, that's another thing they do. They leave the room if they get stuck in a part of a conversation, which they can never really win an argument. They always lose. But they win because they leave or you just quit. But the fact is the things that they do are so outrageous that, you know, they hate comparisons. Comparing you to them, they hate that. I would stay away from it for now. Because then, oh, I'm not you. I'm not as good as you. You're so great. I'm not as good as you. You can't compare me to you. Well, that's how we're going to get them eventually. Is comparing them to you. Okay. So now we're going to go to the third part, how we fix it. And this is going to be pretty quick, this part, because it's pretty simple. Get fed up. Don't pay attention to them at all. Go sleep on the couch. Still be involved, still talk to them. You know, if they ask you a question, still be civil, be nice. But don't give them any romantic affection at all. None. No romantic affection. Make them do something for you to get it. Because before, you were doing everything for them based on their emotions. Say, you know what? I am done dealing with your problems. What about me? I've done this for this long. I have done these things. Name it off now. But you act like you don't care. Obviously you do, but you act like you don't. You still do everything you're supposed to do. You actually should be doing more. You start doing more, but you're just not giving them what they want. You basically have to be so good that they have no way of making any sort of argument at all. And so they get to that point, it's almost like a boiling point where they're in their heads, they're working out a way to try and blame you for something. But they've gotten to a point where the difference, the scale, weighs so much in your favor that even they can't get past it. So basically, they snap out of it and they realize that it's them. And you have to watch for that moment, because when that moment comes and they realize it's them, you got to take advantage of it. And you have to put everything out, get a big whiteboard and write a line down the middle. Say, these are all the things you do to me on a daily basis or over the time that we've been together. Right? You write all these things down. And then you say, here's a pen. I want you to write down all of the things that I do wrong, that I've done to you to deserve this. And they will bring up all the old stuff that you may have done or whatever, which is why you want to be as squeaky clean as possible. But they'll bring up a bunch of old stuff, and you know, they'll talk about a lot of intangible things like how you make them feel and things like that. And the one thing that I always did that she could not get past was I would say, I tell you what, you tell me exactly the way that you want me to be, what you want me to do every single minute of every single day, and I'll do it. And then I actually did for a little while. And then she was worse. And then I said, okay, so if I do everything you want, and because they always want you to be the one to change. It's never their fault. They want you to change. So I'm going to do everything that you want every single second of every day. If I do that, and you still don't change, what then? And that's the end of it. That is what you have to do. You basically have to wait, suffer, deal with it, mitigate damages to the children, and basically sacrifice yourself for a little while. It is rewarding if you do it. I did it and I don't regret it. I'm actually happier now than I've ever been, even before we got together. So if you truly love the person, it's worth doing. And if you have kids, it's worth doing. But other than that, get the fuck out. Anyways, YouTube, Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed this. I'd like you to go check out my new site, www.realparenthelp.com. And it's basically just a discussion between other people. You know, it's me and a kind of my community responding to people's questions, but then also you can put a question up, you can answer a question, or you can just give a little story. We're going to have a story contest. The winner will get something. And then also check out me on Instagram. It's at Trailer Park Philosopher. And like, subscribe, and share this video. Appreciate it very much. You guys have a great day. It's Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving.